What's going on? What's going on? Instant reaction here. The ELF just announced they are bringing in two new awards to the ELF award ceremony. So what I wanted to do for you guys, locker room, and you know how this works, drop a comment and we'll talk about it. I wanted to kind of go through the awards, give you my mid-season either thoughts or picks on each one, and kind of see like where we're at. And again, let's talk about it. Drop a comment below. So the first, ELF announced that they are bringing in two. Let me expand this for you guys real quick. All right, they're bringing in two new awards to the 2025 honors, right, presented by Mercedes-Benz Museum. So the two new awards that they're bringing in are Comeback Player of the Year and Offensive Lineman of the Year. First of all, which brings the awards to 13. But first of all, good job by the league. All linemen definitely need some type of recognition. D lineman could get Defensive Player of the Year. O linemen, those are the guys that we should recognize as well. And I think the league has done a good job of recognizing people like Homegrown of the Year or Man of the Year. So it's good that we have an Offensive Lineman of the Year. And true scout, true football watcher, you're going to have to do some research and some digging to kind of see who's kind of been dominating on the offensive line. And then Comeback Player of the Year, there's a couple guys I can think of off the top of the head. But again, we'll dive into it as we go. And sorry for the background noise. It's thundering here at Athletes Forum Podcast Studios as we're outside. All right, so let's go through the awards. Here are all 13 awards. I'll give you some thoughts on each one. If I don't know, I'll tell you up front, but let me give you some quick thoughts, all right? So as you sit here, one, Assistant Coach of the Year. For me, there's three guys that come to mind, but two guys maybe more so than the other. I think Brandon Noble, defensive coordinator from Nordic. Obviously, he was with Hamburg last year. Seeing what he's doing this year in Nordic, and he has those boys playing fast, and he might have a Defensive Player of the Year on that team. And James Brooks, the turnaround he's been able to do from player to coach for Prague, and he has a big game this week going up against the Vikings. And what he's been able to do with that talent, it's been nothing but sensational. Those are two guys I think off the top of my head. And then the third one, a previous winner of the award, Kyle Callahan in Munich, what he's doing with Russell Tabor and that offense, probably the most balanced offense in the ELF when it comes to passing and rushing. I wanted to give those three guys a shout. So those would be my picks for Assistant Coach of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year, I could think of two guys. I could think of three. One just went on the IR. That was Sandro Platzkummer. I think he finished last season on a better note and he carried that into this season. And he was going, and he had a fast start. He had a fast start. I think he's still dealing with injuries. Just got put on IR. He would be a recommendation for Comeback Player of the Year. Some other guys I think of is Jakob Christensen, O-lineman for Nordic, coming out of retire, the anchor of that offensive line, the center. Obviously, we know the chemistry him and Jadrian have. He could be a candidate for Comeback Player of the Year. And another one, Javarian Smith, quarterback for Prague, got kicked out the league or released from Hamburg last year, midway through the season. Kind of left a sour taste in his mouth. Wanted to get back and prove that he's better than what he's shown. He's been getting better each week. He's actually my fantasy quarterback this week versus Vienna. I would say those three guys would be my Comeback Player of the Year nominees. When we think of Defensive Rookie of the Year, honestly, if he qualifies, for me is Arthur Kingdom and no other. Is Arthur Kingdom and no other. He's the captain of that defense, the anchor of that defense. A guy that's been playing out of his mind this year in his first year in the ELF. I know, I've talked to Bresington about it. I've talked to Arthur about it. Like, I really like how he's played this year and the role he's been able to take on with covering some of the best third receiving threats from other teams, i.e. Florian Beerbaumer this week. So he'll have his hands full. But Arthur Kingdom would be my vote for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Then Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going with Tyler Foster. I like what he's done in Berlin. He's been the bright spot of Berlin. He's continuing to get better week in, week out. I like what Tyler Foster has done. He would be my vote for Rookie of the Year and what he's been able to perform. I would say Justus Seelig as well, too, but he's been hurt as of late. Otherwise, he could have ran away with this award as well. All right. Special Team Player of the Year, it comes down to two guys for me. Obviously, Devin Burrell, just released from the Panthers, just signed with Helvetic. It's documented at times in terms of what he's been able to do as an American import, holds a lot of value in special teams, almost changes the game, flips the field for the offense, scores every other time he touches the ball. He'd be a good nominee for it. Another one, I would say Nazir Streeter. Been a little quiet, but in the return game and what he's been able to do. Now, Isaiah Streeter, for me, will be a special teams player of the year. You could throw in Willie P as well, too, for Prague. But I think I would hammer on those two guys for special teams player of the year. Defensive player of the year, despite his resurgence in sacks the past 2 games, for me, it's Max Parkinson. Jadrian Clark gave us a heads up on what the potential of this guy was coming into the league and what he's going to be able to do with Nordic. Nothing sensational. Again, working with Brandon Noble, I like the season he's had. My vote will go for Max Parkinson. Another guy you could maybe throw in there, maybe I wouldn't say Kai. I don't think he's, obviously he's coming along with sacks now, but I think production team-wise hasn't been there. Another guy who's going to suffer because his team's been suffering, but Alexander Bakovic for the Enthroners. I think he's having a hell of a year as well, too. Continues to build on the type of player that he is, even when he was with Prague and even with the Enthroners. Offensive player of the year. This is a wide receiver award. I'm just telling you off the jump. I got Brandon Bolio. I got Willie P from Prague. Brandon Bolio from Nordic. Willie P from Prague. And, of course, Aaron Krushenk for offensive player of the year. I think these guys have kind of been dominating the scenes, and when it comes to the impact that they've had on their team and the success that their team's been having, I would nominate those 3 guys for offensive player of the year. O-lineman of the year, I'm going back to Joe Christian again, or Jakob Christensen again. What he's been able to do and come in and be the anchor of that Nordic O-line, and I think Jadrian's only been sacked 4 times in this league, 4 times this season. You could throw him in there. You could throw Carlos Carrasco in there. Anchoring down on the tackle position. I think it's Jakob's position. Excuse me. I think it's Jakob's award to lose, but he would get my vote right now for offensive lineman of the year. Rookie of the year. It's a toss up. I don't think they like giving this award to the same player twice. If you want offensive rookie and defensive rookie, but we'll see. Homegrown of the year. I'm going back to Alexander Bakovic against a import with Prague, now a homegrown with the Enthroners, and what he's been able to do. Coach of the year usually goes to the best team with the best record heading into the playoffs. MVP, I think it's a 3-man race with Reese Annette, Jadrian Clark, and Aaron Krushenk. My vote will go for Jadrian. When you look at how efficient he is, and losing Glenn and the amount that he's been having to throw on his shoulders to distribute the ball to get his guys involved. It's not just 1 or 2 guys dominating 2 for Nordic. Jadrian's really spreading the rock around, and he will get my vote for MVP of the year. Man of the year, to be honest, I don't know about this one, so I won't dive too much into it. But, again, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. But those would be my thoughts, suggestions, recommendations with the awards that were just announced. Instant reaction. So we'll see how all those pan out.